So we're back in the car and the sun is rising in the background there. We're on this beautiful sand road and we decided let's do another carpool. And this beautiful road that we're on has got trees, these trees, and the leaves are starting to get a little bit, they're starting to fall to the ground.
Change colour,
autumn's coming. And we just thought we'd shoot the breeze around change, because the seasons remind us that nothing is permanent. And the only thing in life that we can really rely on is the fact that there is impermanence. So yeah, how well do you do a change? Because so many people I talk to seem to think they do well in change. And what are your thoughts, mate?
Well, look, we're in the change game, so I'd like to think I do pretty well. But it's still, not easy. I think for a lot of people, change is, it causes anxiety, the uncertainty of what lies ahead and all that. And
I think as people, we choose the more comfortable road, and the more comfortable road is what we know. Now that's not all bad, that keeps us sane. The challenge we find ourselves in is that we're living in a world that is changing around us, and if I am not morphing or adapting to change, then I am probably falling behind what's going on. So there's a horrible little quote which goes as follows: if we don't like change, we'll like irrelevance even less. And Tom Peters references that quote in one of his books. It actually comes from a General Eric Shinseki. But that being said, then, how do we change? What do we do that supports a strong change posture? And I don't know whether you've got any thoughts there.
Well, I think going back to the whole journaling thing, where you actually take time to just reflect where you are at right now, and what are the challenges that you feel, or changes that you feel are happening. And then once you sort of got it out your mind of what are these different changes, then you can almost do an analysis on it. Like, okay, well, what is the fear? How can I maybe reframe this so I don't feel almost crippled by the new life that's coming my way?
Yeah, so I think what I'm hearing you say is that the more awareness you can create around your life and what's going on in the environment, the more likely you will be able to change. I like that, because if we're not aware of what's going on, then we're unlikely to change. What's his name? Carl Jung says, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our lives, and we will call it fate. Should I say that again, because it's really, really good? Until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our lives, and we will call it fate. So I think to do change well does come with a sense of awareness, an awareness of what's going on inside of me, but also an awareness to the environment. I think for me, the big thing about change is we need to often be looking at our mindsets and how we're thinking.
That's a big one.
Yeah. And mindset change is not easy, but it's something we need to cultivate. And with mindset change, it's what are the thoughts that are running through my head, and what needs to be actually running through my head, even around change. So a lot of people feel that underneath the surface is that change is maybe not good. Maybe feel a victim towards it, but just simple mindsets which say I am capable of changing and I'm more resilient, more agile than I realize, can actually be very, very empowering. But
it's almost like affirmations then, just those few things that you said there. Partly the mindset, affirming yourself, almost anchoring yourself in. I don't know, to me it helps also just the calming thing.
Yeah, I think John Maxwell talks about sometimes we force feed ourselves in the direction that we need to go, and if so much of our behavior and posture is related to the level of thinking that we're doing. We need to affirm, but also just, know what it is that we should be thinking. That's why I say, mindset change isn't easy change, but it is very, very important. There was this interesting experiment done by a guy called John Barge, New York University, and they simply got students to make sentences out of words which related to age, even though age wasn't part of the words at all. And then what they noticed with the students when they left the auditorium to go to another auditorium is they walked slower than other students who had a different set of words. And it just showed that the words or the sentences that are going on in our mind begin to impact how we behave.
Absolutely, Mark. When you started sharing that, I got quite excited because it is so powerful. And again, I love using the plant analogy, how when people talk to plants, how it brings life. And I did an experiment on this recently, and it's just so the same thing with us, it definitely impacts us physiologically, emotionally, mentally. The power of words, we can't overemphasize how we've got to watch our language that we say.
And if you think about a big topic these days is AI, and it's hard not to wake up and feel a sense of threat to this change that's going on. But I remember when I was a kid at school, calculators had come in, and suddenly you were allowed to start using calculators in exams. But you had this little thing that could do this maths that was crazy. And when I was in primary school, we had to add up everything, And then comes the calculator, and it just makes it so easier. And now we work with the calculator, or the calculator's even sort of obsolete now. But just the mindset of recognizing that as the world around us changes, work with it. Gain insight, gain information about the changes that are happening around you. And often we find that the change, therefore, is not so much threatening anymore, but you also find ways to work with it, make it even better. But in order to do that, it has to have a mindset which says the world is changing around me quickly, and either I'm going to be swallowed up or left behind by the change, or I'm going to move with it.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. So that's one way to make yourself a little bit more change resilient is in your mindset. There are others, and let's talk about it in other carpools. I think mindset is actually one of the more difficult ones, but it is something which is just so crucial for us to have a healthy mindset. Any healthy mindsets on your side?
Yeah,
Changes, really?
I just think it starts with awareness. So if we can be mindful of our thinking, let's not have stinking thinking where it's not helpful. So I think that would just be the first step.
Cool. Okay.
What a beautiful morning.
Is the sun coming out?
Cheers, guys.